This was an absolutely jaw-dropping episode. The animation was clean. It was so fast, but I felt like I was keeping up with every punch, every maneuver. But just the casual way they end, where you're expecting like, okay, even if somehow Yuji, our boy Itadori, somehow pulls through and gets a W, his foot was pretty much stabbed. Both of his feet actually were stabbed right at the get-go. Liver got shot. Arm, I mean, he almost lost that arm. Let's be honest. That thing was dangling by a couple of threads of meat. Like, it was not looking good. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is one fight. Even if somehow you get to the very end and you face Imposter Ghetto, thank God we got Nanami. Even that's not going to be enough, I'm sure, but at the very least we got some badass who was able to kick ass last week and not get a beating because, oh my God, like, just, I don't know exactly what happened, but Yuji's got a way of inflicting himself into people's memories because Choso was like, he was there, he was going to kill him, and then somehow he's like, oh yeah, this is my family, and scurries off having like a panic attack. What happened? I don't know, but I'm excited to learn more. Full live reaction to today's action-packed, jaw-dropping episode is over on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full live reaction, it's over there if you're interested. Now, this was good. This was pure adrenaline. This is the type of episode that you could probably take a clip out of context probably every other minute and get someone to want to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, just for the beautiful animation alone. But the thing that I will always come back to with a show like this, because there's so many people that watch shows like these and call Jujutsu Kaisen boring if moments like these aren't around. Big action spectacles, bloodshed for days. But Jujutsu Kaisen's brilliant because it has great characterization, it has great story hooks, the power system is intriguing, yes, the fights are incredible, but when you actually look at the fights beyond surface level, holy shit, that Sakuga, or holy shit, that punch, it actually has a story being told behind all of these moments. Now, there is some downtime. Mechamaru comes up, and honestly, without him, he probably would have been dead a lot sooner. Now, granted, he's not dead, but I don't know, when you look like that, it's kind of easy to say it's pretty much dead. Now, there is downtime, but the reason I'm talking about the story behind the punches is even looking at the general hatred that Yuji's opponent has. Choso literally is like, listen, 1, did my brother have any last words? And 2, I'm going to kill you and make you suffer for killing my brother and, being a part of all this BS, right? You have the narrative there. In terms of Yuji, he needs to push through because obviously we need to release Gojo. Like, without Gojo, how do we do this? And most importantly, how am I supposed to save all these people? You have personal stories between both of them, and there's that history. But the fact that it's not just look at a punch, look at a kick. You could, honestly, I would not be shocked in the slightest if a fight like this gets deep dived in video essay form, because every time I would be like, wait a second, I wanted to pause and rewind multiple times, and I probably will do that after I'm done making this video, but just watching Yuji bounce around, there's like these attention to detail moments on a visual level that didn't need to be there, but for some reason they were. There's times where you just look at his face and how it's like crinkling up and you can tell the tension, the stress. There's moments where, I think it's in the moment when he's in the bathroom after he lures him in, there's a moment where he kind of gets like thrown into the stall, and I think it's around like a corner of the wall that he uses his foot to kind of propel himself, and the way his shoe bends upwards, you can actually feel like it's a real foot bending and propelling himself. Did they need to animate that shoe that well? No. But did they? Yes, they did. And it's just insane watching the creativity of someone who's a close combat fighter go up against someone who's manipulating blood in such a cool and honestly distinct way. Blood magic, blood manipulation, blood abilities in general, like if a video game gives me the ability to do so, I generally roll with that playstyle. I think it's really cool and really fun. And usually lore implications is there's usually some pretty interesting dark secrets to it as well. So watching this man use it in the way that he did, it was really cool because I didn't really find myself comparing it to other anime, movies, or video games that I've seen use blood manipulation, because the idea of the arrow attack, or the idea of, at one point it almost felt like we were about to have like a Dr. Octopus scene where like I thought he was gonna use like tentacles, but instead he just keeps trying to paint our boy, cover him in blood, and then every time he does, like it just looks like it gets worse and worse. And the way he uses at the very end of the episode, because ultimately Yuji tries to make it seem like he can't use one of his fists. It's a good play, so it's looking like he's not going to do anything. Powers up, unfortunately he's basically protected on his side, and then we see the next attack. And it just felt like, even like at the start of this fight, I thought to myself, think of what Nanami said last week. Go home, basically. Like, sit this one out. You all are not capable of fighting. And honestly, I said it last week. I was like, maybe Yuji will be able to get through some of these fights, but at the same time, we need a Gojo. We need a Nanami. Like, this is a very bad situation. And entering this fight, I felt like even if somehow he wins this, he's not going to be in the physical form to keep on fighting. And by the end of it, his arm is barely attached to his shoulder. His liver's shot, he's shot all over, like literally, I think it's one of the first moments he does like blood knives and stabs both of his feet. Like, props to our boy for pulling through and not giving into the pain, but what the... we need a Pokemon Center. Like, Yuji needs a mobile Pokemon Center to heal his ass up because this ain't looking good. Now, to be fair, we did break his mind seemingly and he did retreat, but like, if Geto was to pop up here, like, what the hell would we do? And that's what's exciting, is all throughout watching it, there's just the self-explanatory, just show that frame out of context, people are gonna jump aboard that Jujutsu Kaisen hype train. But it's the story. This was a fight. We knew this fight was going to happen. We knew at some point these two would clash, and there was such hostility, there was such rage and anger, and the idea of two polar opposite style of fighting techniques just clashing and then forcing them in such a closed off environment. Very cool maneuver by using the plumbing in order to basically make it so all the blood was pretty much pointless, forcing him into close quarters contact without actually being able to use too much blood, and making our guard drop similar to Yuji, thinking he didn't have any other blood stored, only for him to get a sneak attack and just continue to blast holes into him. Jujutsu Kaisen has some of the most insane action you watch in any given season, but at the same time, you care about the characters, you care about the lore implications, or like what's going to happen with power systems and how they will affect the general people, to if we can even deal the finishing blow to the end boss here, which is Imposter Geto, who pretty much is, I think he's still just chilling. I think he's relaxing on a beach chair right now as everyone else is fighting for their life. Thank God Nanami's doing all right, given last week, but still, like, if we have to rely on him to do most of the heavy lifting, I mean, he's going to be exhausted, and this man's already overworked. The salary man can't do this all by himself. I don't know, man, but this was one hell of a Jujutsu Kaisen episode. I would love to know what everyone thought, because this was good. This was very good, at least for me, but let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction over on my Patreon if you're interested. And hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Taylor, Sphinx, Ala Ann, username MK, Darthwin Wright, and Eric Barton. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.